too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Good evening, happy Sunday to you. Thank you for joining us here on Sim Racing Media for the Icon Cup Series this week. Racing at Bristol. Should be a tremendous race. As always, I'm Shane Cochran in the booth with me tonight. Going to be Alan Bergen. Alan, how's your weekend going?
It is going great. I am excited to be here tonight. 300 laps here at Bristol. I'm excited. And, you know, here's the thing, Shane. And when I watch Bristol, I have one phrase I always use, and that is bent sheet metal and hurt feelings. But, you know, as we work our way through the 300 laps here tonight, I'm watching not only the front of the field, but I'm also watching the back of the field. And the back of the field is where, you know, you got to be up on the wheel, you know, just there's no chance to breathe except for on the stage brakes. So those stage brakes are going to be so welcomed here as these guys work their way through 300 laps here at Bristol on the concrete. And we're going to end at nighttime. So we're going to be under the lights in prime time here on Sim Racing Media. And Shane, I tell you what, man, it is an absolute blast. It's going to be like jet planes and a gymnasium.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. So let's set the stage a little bit. Here we are. We're in the playoffs here at Bristol. The second race in the round of 12. So not a cutoff race, but everybody already under pressure to do what they need to do. Last week at Gateway, the round of 12 kicked off with a bang as all the playoff drivers had a renewed sense of hope after going through the cutoff race the week before, but the cruel mistress of playoff luck was not kind to everyone. With 8 drivers starting the race in less than 10 points from each other, no one could afford issues or a DNF. Pole sitter Jacob Smith looked unstoppable, leading 108 laps, sweeping the stages and winning the race by over 4 seconds over his teammate Brian Smith. His other teammates at Buddy Motorsports had 3 drivers in the top 3 and 4 drivers in the top 6 for a good portion of the race. But Rex in the final stage would hand Cody Neal a DNF and drop Mike Taylor out of the top 15. On the other hand, Bentley Glazer had a solid performance, driving from 15th up into a podium finish in the final stage. But other playoff drivers not so lucky, including Ryan Patty and Braxton DeWeese, who both got taken out of the race, finished many laps down. They are going to be hurting on points and needing a great race here to rebound. Other drivers that had some good luck, Nathan Finnegan, Patrick Colby, Kyle Purcell, Chuck Van Schaik, and John McNeil all finished in the top 10, gaining momentum coming into this race here at Bristol. And with that, let's take a quick peek. We're going to be looking at these a couple times, but let's take a peek at our playoff point standings here. Brian Smith is your points leader. The most wins in the season. He's just got those bonus points helping him get some breathing room. But the big surprise to me, Alan, is Ryan Patty. We mentioned he had that DNF last week. He is bottom of this list, 7 points below the cut line. He needs to have a great race here to not put himself in a bad situation next week at New Hampshire.
Yeah, and to Ryan's point, to your point also, Gateway really plays into Ryan's hands. He's so good on those racetracks there. But here at Bristol, we're not even playing the same sport. We're nestled in the deep into the Smoky Mountains here, as we have 300 laps here. And as you bring up the race information there, the stages are 75 and 150, and at 60% fuel. We're going 60% of the actual race that you saw in prime time last night. So I'm ready to go. It's a cool 84 degrees on the track. It's an even cooler 79 degrees in the stands here today. So, it's comfortable.
Yeah, this should be an exciting one, like we mentioned. I mean, if you're not familiar with Bristol, I'm not even sure what you're doing here, but Bristol is the last great Coliseum. It's a half-mile track with some of the highest banking on the circuit. If you don't like this, I'm not sure there's much racing out there that you are going to like. This is tight, beating and banging, especially in this next-gen car. It really seems to enjoy this Bristol track. And a couple of years ago, we were hurting for some good short track racing in the next gen car, but right now it seems the Highline is somewhat dominant. That's where you want to be, but that just leaves you open for dive bombs from the bottom, and it makes for a great race. We got some typos here. It says Shane Lake. Shane was in the booth with us last week, but it's going to be Alan with me tonight. There we go. Got that fixed. Now, one thing to call out here, you'll see this detail down at the bottom. It's a single pit road. And as I'm saying it, I can't even remember which is which. Maybe you do, Alan. But at Bristol, in real life, under green, the drivers only go down half of pit road, the one with their pit. Under caution, they go down both of them to keep it even. And iRacing gives you the option to do one or the other. So single pit road, I believe, is where everyone has to go all the way around, even under green.
Absolutely 100% correct there. And these guys are gonna have to play nice at pit road.
Yeah, and it's got some extra landmines for you as well. As you go around this double pit road, you can pick up a speeding penalty going around the corner in between the two pit roads if you're not careful. Especially with that tight turning radius. It's kind of hard to get a read on your speed going around the turn like that, because I think, technically the guy on the outside can actually be speeding, but because it's a further distance between the intervals, that will can throw you off. The other thing that's gotten me before is riding the outside around pit lane on the turn. If you get that tire anywhere near that white line, the stewards will come and get you. We'll take a look at our grid as they roll off pit road. Brian Smith on pole, Bentley Glazer P2, Jacob Smith and Braxton DeWeese on row 2. Jake Champion and Patrick Colby in row 3. Nathan Finnegan and Zach Lockett in row 4. Charlie Widener and Kyle Purcell in row 5. Then Charlie Woods and Brock Hersey in row 6. Chris Camber and Sean Purcell in row 7. Then Nathan Brzezowski and Cody Neal in row 8. Chuck Van Schaik, John McNeil, row 9. Then Ryan Patty and Cody Eldred in row 10. Jacob Gladelich and Kyle Gilbert in row 11. Brad Delph and Robert Bloom in row 12. And we have just 24 cars on the track tonight, but Jacob Gladelich not making the start. We'll see if he gets on track after starting in the pits or something like that, Alan.
He might be race control.
That is a good point. Well, that pace truck is off, and the green flag is out. We're racing here at Bristol, the last great Coliseum. Race 2 of the round of 12 with the Icon Cup Series, and Brian Smith already out to a lead ahead of Glazer and DeWeese. We talked about last week, Glazer having a great race, great finish on the podium, and DeWeese having a DNF, needing to rebound for some points this week.
Yeah, Bentley Glazer already working the outside here on lap number 2. As you can see on the scoring pylon, all those drivers that are in green, I believe, are still in it.
Yes, so if you're looking at the tower, drivers in green are playoff drivers. Nobody is technically locked in, and nobody is numerically eliminated in this race. So everybody still with a shot. A win gets you into the next round, obviously, but still a lot of chance to do it on points if you can do well in the stages and get a good finish at the end.
Well, just as we see there, they're going to play nice for the first 150 laps, hopefully. And no one's going to have to do anything egregious. Now, it's not a matter, if you're Brett Delph, it's not a matter of when or if Billy Glazer catches you. It's going to be a matter of when. So if you're Brett Delph, Robert Bloom, Cody Eldred, Kyle Gilbert, Ryan Petty, you really got to be up on the move, or up on that wheel, as I say. And this is a very up on the wheel racetrack. I say that a lot. Oh, we got a car.
Finnegan down low. He's sliding.
He's dirt tracking it. He's going to go around.
He avoids contact, though. That's going to be our first yellow flag of the night. Ooh.
Oh, boy.
And again, I think that might have been the best wreck you could have at Bristol to avoid all the contact. Brzezowski also possibly involved. Let's go back and take a look at what happened to Nathan Finnegan in the 6 car. Just gets loose off the turn and then doesn't have enough room to slow down, or he drifts back up track. Everybody able to avoid him, it looks like. Let's see what happened to Brzezowski, though. Oh, he just checked up where Finnegan got a little bit of contact from the 74, and then he got loose off the turn. And he did make contact there with the wall. We will have to keep an eye on Brzezowski. See how bad that damage is. He is on pit road, as is Finnegan. You're under caution.
I mean, if that's the worst thing that's going to happen right now, is you have to go use up a set of tires due to flat spot, I think we're doing okay right now.
Yeah, I think Finnegan, not much to worry about, but Brzezowski, that front on, head on contact with the wall there, that looked a little serious.
Yeah, no fast repairs in this league either, so whatever damage occurs is the damage you're stuck with.
And he's going to stay on the lead lap here, Alan. So the damage, hopefully not too bad. I mean, we can see it.
I mean, so here's the thing, Shane. You know, that is not really going to hurt the car. Now, it might be a couple of minutes of optional damage. And so, you know, if there's a lot of cautions, he come in there, fix that thing 30 seconds to a minute at a time.
And that might be what you have to do. It's really easy to go a lap down under caution here at Bristol, just a half mile. You know, at Daytona or Talladega, you could get a minute and a half of damage fixed in one go, then drive around, catch up to the field, and do it again all under one caution. But here, you're going to be asking your spotter, where is that pace car? When do I need to go? So up front, it's Bentley Glazer in the lead. While we were watching Finnegan get out of sorts, it looks like... Well, I'm not really sure which of these guys is the leader. The leaderboard's saying Glazer, but it could be that Smith has chosen the outside. So for the second time tonight, we're going to re-rack them. You can see all of that green in the tower, all of the playoff drivers stacked into the top 10. Looks like 7 of the top 10 are playoff drivers, and Glazer is off to a great start. He pulls ahead of Smith, and both he and Smith are pulling away from Jacob Smith in the 4, and everybody back behind him. That's DeWeese and Champion battling for 4th.
We got a couple guys venturing to the outside there, Shane, as we got the 27 car. That's Jake Champion. He's trying to make that outside work. And I think we saw that last night where they had, I guess they put PJ1 down on the bottom of the racetrack to kind of get that groove back down.
Oh, we got somebody loose. That's Camburn.
That's Camburn. Oh, goodness gracious. Good golly.
Still green. But
He keeps it going. He points it in the right direction.
Yeah, the 88 having issues. He's going to keep it going.
Well, he's definitely going to lose a lap, though.
Right now, he's still about a third of a lap ahead of the leader. But he better keep that pace up, because Glazer is burning it down out there now with almost a second lead over the 78 and the 4. First side-by-side battle back through the field is right here between Cody Neal and the 0-1 of Kyle Purcell. And like you said, Alan, it does seem like the outside lane's where you want to be when you get side-by-side.
Yeah, you can always build up that momentum there on the outside line. That's right there in that number 27 car. That's Jake Champion. Ooh, I'm seeing smoke. No fire.
I don't see anyone slow out there. That might just be left over from what happened to the 88.
Working lap number 20 of 300 right now. As we got,
we still got 280 to go.
Yeah, my math doesn't math some days.
Starting to get spread out. I don't think anyone is side by side right now. Maybe all the way back to McNeil. This is a battle for 13th.
Well, I tell you what, though. 75 laps to the first stage. That's going to click off pretty quick at this rate. These guys are, side by side, or single file out, rather. One continuous line. Now, if you're Cody Eldridge, though, in that 32 car, Bentley Glazer's coming.
Yeah, Glazer has caught the 32. That's Cody Eldred. Looks like he might have had an issue of some sort back around lap 13. Does look like there's a bit of damage on the front of that 32.
I wonder if he caught something.
Just a little bit on that left front fender. And there's our second caution of the night.
Ugh.
Looks like The 72, perhaps? He's a little bit behind the rest of the field. Let's go back a lap and ride along with Brad Delph. Got Nate Finnegan right there, and there it is. A little bit of contact between the 72 and the 6. They both keep it clean after that. Now let's go back to lap 13, see if we see Elter just stopping, calling for a tow earlier in the race, so maybe a hardware issue more so than an accident slowing that 32 down. So we're here with our second caution of the night. Again, let's take a look at those point standings. The driver that I think is under the most pressure here is absolutely Ryan Patty. He's been, you know, in the top 5, top 6 in points all season. Came into the playoffs with a lot of momentum, and then after that wreck last week, coming in a bad spot, chasing every other playoff driver here at Bristol.
Yeah, that's one thing you don't want to do here, and that's dig a hole early, because once you bury yourself in the points, it is hard to find a way out.
But he has been moving forward, and I were taking a look at his position by lap so far tonight. Started back around 19th, dropped to 20th at the start of the race, and has just been steadily working his way forward as he's now in 11th. Knocking on the door of the top 10. He's gained 8 positions on the night. And that is tied with Cody Neal for most positions gained so far in the race. Cody Neal in 8th position. Kyle Gilbert, Balloon, and McNeil also moving forward.
Well, that was a great shot of the aerial view of Bristol Motor Speedway.
I'll tell you what, this sunset has some of these paint schemes really lit up beautifully. That 38 Caterpillar almost looks like the whole thing's chromed out. Looking great. So we still have 22 cars on the lead lap. Cody Eldred is the only car running that is 1 lap down and in that lucky dog position. And Bentley Glazer leads them back to green one more time. This time, though, Smith and Jacob Smith, that's Brian Smith and Jacob Smith, right on top of him. The 78 to the bumper, then dives down low.
Yeah, he's going to make the move. Can he make it stick on Bentley Glazer? I don't think so. There he goes that time. He's door bumper clear. And he has sailed. There's a little bit of contact. It's a 4 car, and he's looking for that second position. As Braxton DeWeese is side by side with 27 car Jake Champion.
And that was the first, you know, kind of decisive pass we've seen done on the bottom of the track all night. The 78 able to get it done. Looks like Finnegan's been on pit road again. He might have picked up a black flag on the restart. His night's going from bad to worse, Alan.
His night is definitely going from bad to absolutely worse. But Bentley Glazer, look at him having a good run there, out of the playoffs. But, you know, and this is what makes racing different from your stick and ball sports, right? So in baseball, if you're out of the playoffs, you go home and you go hit the golf course. Here in racing, if you're out of the playoffs, you show up the next week and go racing.
Some side-by-side battling here. Patty, Widener, and Colby. As Patty pulls ahead, now it is Widener and Colby still side-by-side. Then back behind them, you got a couple more drivers. A little bit of wall slapping. It's not the worst thing in the world here at Bristol. A lot of times if you get loose coming off, you can save it by tapping the wall.
Absolutely, you know, and here's the thing. It's a fast half mile for these cup cars. But imagine running some dirt on here, some dirt cars. We did that a couple years ago in the spring race. But nonetheless, here we are with Kyle Gilbert out of Paducah, Kentucky, up there solidly riding 13th ahead of Charles Van Schaik.
Yeah, he's now up 8 positions. So that 227 on the march. Up front, 78. Starting to get a little bit of a gap, just about 3/10, but the 4 car is trying to hunt down Bentley Glazer. Glazer gets some breathing room there. You can just see the difference of it, kind of the angle of attack here. Jacob going hard into the corner, hard into the braking zone, and using that braking to get his car down to the bottom, while Glazer is just kind of, I mean, it looks like he's saving tires to me, Alan. He's keeping in touch with the 78, but he's not, you know, pushing and forcing the car to get down to the yellow line. He's not up there in the marbles taking chances to try and build momentum or anything. He's just keep taking it easy, having a great run.
Apparently Glazer calculated. Here comes Braxton DeWeese on the outside of the 4 car of Jacob Smith. And Jacob Smith gonna make him work for it. He has got a quarter panel on him. What a run for Braxton DeWeese to get that 3rd position and just wrangle it away from Jacob Smith.
Oh, we got somebody loose. Kyle Purcell almost went around, loses a couple positions, but keeps it straight.
Good bit of driving for Kyle Purcell out of Chicagoland Racing. And next year, I cannot wait until NASCAR goes back to Chicagoland for the first time in a long time, since before COVID.
I mean, it's been since the slide job, hasn't it? We've got another car down on the inside. That's... Who was that? Jacob Smith, the 4. Having an issue. The 74 slaps the wall. Now everybody kind of getting thrown out of their routine. They've gotten into a rhythm. We saw the 4 car hit the wall hard. See if we can track that down.
There's a 227 car of Kyle Gilbert out of Paducah, Kentucky. Some 3 hours away from the Tony Trapasso Memorial Studio. As we got about 21 laps left to go before the stage.
Yeah, and that 4 car was running in the top 3. Had gotten passed by DeWeese. We're going to try jumping back a couple laps here. See what happened to the 4. And there it is. Let's go one more lap back right along. He's following DeWeese. You're in car with Jacob. And just gets loose.
Yeah.
Not too bad. I don't think he's going to have any significant damage. And he kind of had a nice spot to jump back up into the traffic in as well.
As I said,
and while we were riding along with him, we've had our 3rd yellow of the night.
Nathan Finnegan.
So Finnegan already 2 laps down. Probably doing everything he can to just keep moving forward, and gets into it with, was that Woods?
I think it might have been.
And the worst thing about this, Alan, is, well, I'm not sure who was in the spot for the lucky dog there, but you know, that's something Finnegan's going to be working towards. He was 2 laps down, so not in position that time. There's nothing worse than being potentially a lucky dog and having a little bit of contact under caution that makes you ineligible. To remind you of the race rundown, we got 300 laps here tonight with stages at lap 75 and 150. Now the fuel window is just over 100 laps, somewhere between 105 115 or so, and that really could get extended out even further if you had a lot of cautions and people able to save it. But I think people are going to be wanting to change tires more than they're going to be wanting to get fuel. So I would expect, you know, every 60 laps or so, you're going to see people come in for tires if they didn't already do it at a recent stage break. And that's what we're seeing right now. Handful of drivers hitting pit road. Going to be Kyle Purcell, Chris Camber, Sean Purcell, Nathan Brzezowski gets in. I think Nathan was the lucky dog at 77. We saw him have an issue earlier. Have a head-on impact with that inside pit wall. And he's now riding at 21st, back on the lead lap.
All right, here we go. Getting ready to get back to green flag racing here on lap number 55. There he is, the man, the myth, and the legend, Brian Smith, who essentially has just won everything there is about to win here this season. iRacing.com pace car on the pit road through the Echo Park restart zone. Brian Smith on the button. We are back to green flag racing.
Oh, tight race there for Deweese and Champion. Looks like Deweese able to make that bottom line work for now, but watch the 27 get a run here on the outside. And there's the yellow again. This time the 01 involved.
Kyle Purcell.
That's the only car off pace. These kind of low impact wrecks here tonight, they're not setting off the overlay software, making it easy on us. So we're going to jump back a lap. Oh, there it is. Let's jump back another lap here. And watch that 01 car. We mentioned he's one of the drivers that pitted under that last caution, so he's probably got faster tires than some of the drivers around him. And there it is. He just comes up on the 98 faster than he was expecting to. I don't think anybody got too much damage on that one. And we are creeping towards that first stage break at lap 75. Still Brian Smith out front. Take a look at our lap leaders. It's been Smith and Glazer. They've split it about 50-50 so far tonight. They're running 1-2. Now, we had talked a little bit about the paint scheme here on this 38 Caterpillar Mustang. Cody Neal, I see in the live chat, I've been educated that Anthony Tizio actually did this scheme for the 38 car. You're looking for something sharp and fancy looking like that, you can reach out to Tizio Designs. They'll hook you up.
You learn something new every day.
All right, so stories of the race. The big one for me, Nathan Finnegan appears to have parked it. Having a ton of bad luck tonight. Not the way he wanted it to go at Bristol. Couple wrecks. And he is parked 8 laps down currently, but it looks like he's out of the car. So we'll hope to see that 6 car back next week at New Hampshire. He's going to be in a points deficit as well, but the driver who needed a great night, Ryan Patty in the 30, now all the way up to 7th. And he's got a pretty sharp scheme on here tonight, Alan. Kind of a throwback scheme with Kellogg's on that 30 car.
I kind of like it. You got the Reese's peanut butter cup on there.
I'm sure the Kellogg's car has done pretty good at Bristol. I remember right when it was Terry Labonte and did Jeff Bodine drive the Kellogg's car at 1.2?
Carl Edwards did. Kellogg's. That was Frosted Flakes that Kurt Busch or Kyle Busch drove.
So Brian Smith jumps out to the biggest lead we've seen someone take on a restart all night. Great restart for the 78. Back behind him, Bentley Glazer is in P2, but he's got Braxton Deweese and Jake Champion side by side behind him. And then Cody Neal, Zach Lockett making his way up towards the front. And there's Ryan Patty. We were just talking about him. So now with just 6 laps to go here in the stage, the race is on.
Well, it's 75 laps to the stage.
Oh, you're right. So 10 laps ago. Either way, the pace is picking up. Bentley Glazer just ran the fastest lap of the race, a 14.99. First driver to break under 15 seconds here tonight. And as that sun goes down, this track cools off. It's going to get faster and faster, Alan.
Absolutely. You're not missing anything up front. So we're watching The Rock and Zach Lockett there. And that number 93 car working that outside. He is stuck there like glue. And right behind him is Jacob Smith. Does he have enough to get by Zach Lockett? Could Jacob Smith potentially try to make it 3 wide?
And there's another caution. Brzezowski is the slowest car on track.
I feel like we just had about 10 stage breaks.
Here we go, racing with the Purcells of Kyle and Sean. And it's kind of the same thing. I just think the cars that pitted and got fresh tires have kind of lost the ability to anticipate when the old tire cars are going to need to check up in the corner.
Yeah, you're 100% correct there in that statement. I mean, you just got to know when to check out.
A couple other drivers involved. Let's see, like Hersey. This is all under caution. Right. Ooh, just an awkward checkup. The 72, the 24 get together a little bit. Always unfortunate, but kind of an inevitability, even in the best leagues. I see that happen all the time. And again, checking in on the live chat, we're getting an update from the 6 driver and Nathan Finnegan. That was 3 cautions caused for him, so that was a race control park, I believe. And he's saying he's probably out of the playoffs here, as he's out of town next weekend, will not be racing at New Hampshire. So it might take we'll have to do some math before next week's race to see if he's still got a shot at it, but not looking great for the 6-car driver, Nathan Finnegan. Still up front, though, the 78, Brian Smith. Bentley Glazer, Braxton Deweese is your top 3. Now we're hearing that the 6 cars wrecks kind of a combination of things. A little bit of a hardware issue with a frozen screen caused that first caution for him, and then the second one, I think he claimed it, maybe regrets doing so. Either way, just seemed like all the bad luck was lined up in a row for him tonight.
And that's definitely heartbreaking, knowing that you had you come into these races thinking you got to get a shot to win, but nonetheless, we're getting ready to go to a 5-lap shootout to the end of the stage.
Oh, Cody Neal hard into the wall. Almost looked like he missed a shift. Now they're 3 wide as that 38 drifts back through the field. Right as everybody got going, whoever was behind the 38 got onto his bumper and turned him again. It just looked like the 38 didn't get going like he needed to. So that leaves Braxton Deweese into that 3rd position. Jake Champion in 4th. Patty now into the top 5. He's been going forward all night. Gonna get some good stage points here if he can hold on for 3 more laps. They're getting a little racy towards the back.
There we go. We got some battles brewing back here in the back. as Brzezowski getting all he can out of the 24 car.
And Brzezowski, one of the drivers that's pitted, he pitted just 8 laps ago, so he's got very fast tires compared to those around him. And there is the stage caution at the end of lap 75. Drivers getting stage points here going to be Brian Smith, Bentley Glazer, Braxton DeWeese, Jake Champion, Ryan Patty, your top 5. Then Zach Lockett, Charlie Widener, Patrick Colby, Chuck Van Schaik, and Jacob Smith. As now it looks like the entire field going to hit pit road. I was actually expecting a couple drivers to stay out. Maybe Brzezowski. There's one. Sean Purcell. He pitted back on lap 68. I think that's a pretty smart move, Alan.
Yeah, exactly. Here's we got all kinds of drivers coming down pit road.
So while they're all doing this, we'll let them get sorted out. We're going to take our first commercial break of the night and be back for the start of Stage 2 with the Icon Cup Series here on SRM. Welcome back to the Icon Cup Series at Bristol here on SRM. Stage 2 now underway. Sean Purcell using some pit strategy to get the lead, and he is staying there for now. But the 78, the 8, and the 87 all right on his tail. They have fresher tires, but not that much fresher. So I think we'll see if Purcell can hold the lead and for how long. And there's another caution. This time, Charlie Woods involved. Go back and see what caused this one. It also looks like Hersey and Bloom involved. Oh, Brzezowski. Oh, and it's up ahead of them. The 24. Oh, and then the 98 gets caught up in it. The 11 as well. Let's check on Brock Hersey. See what it looked like from his perspective. Oh, and it's the 88 was the first one. You get sideways. That's Chris Camburn. Now we'll check on the 11. Oh, almost made it through. It's actually right along with Robert from in the car. See, he actually avoids 2 spinning cars and then catches the 24 just a little bit. Again, I don't think his race is over, but it's going to be an uphill battle from here. Hersey, though, he did pick up a meatball flag, so heavy damage there on the 24 car. But the 74 Purcell able to hold on to the lead at least as long as that green flag run went. We've got a couple drivers on pit road, almost all of them involved in that crash. Up front, that 74, he's on, like we mentioned, he's on a little bit older tires, and he might not be able to hold on to the lead for too long, but that track position worth so much here as we take a look at who's the biggest movers of the race. Sean Purcell is the biggest right now, up 13 spots from where he started in the front of the pack. Then Kyle Gilbert gained 10 positions. And we talked about Ryan Patty. It looks like he lost a little bit through that pit cycle, though. He was in the top 5 not too long ago. And he might have been taking care of some damage as well. Looking at our wrench wranglers tonight. Camburn, driver who has successfully made the most repairs, 54 seconds. And he's back in 21st, 1 lap down, so he's going to be battling with Brock Hersey for the lucky dog. If Hersey can get off of pit road and get rid of that meatball flag, it looks like he will not be able to do that. So Camburn now sitting in the lucky dog position after making significant repairs.
Hey, let's go back to racing. What do you say?
Here we go. One more time for the 8th time tonight. In fact, the 74 car takes the green flag. 78, though, gets a great start on the outside. And he's going to stay in the gas all the way through the turn and take the lead. And it's...
Now, I was going to say, the temps are going to start coming down here as we work our way into the evening time.
Pretty good battle back here for 10th. That's Jacob Smith trying to get around Charlie Widener and Chuck Van Schaik. Ryan Patty and Kyle Gilbert right behind him. The outside lane continuing to look like the preferred line, with the exception of that one time the 78 took the lead down low. But back up front, 74 not dropping back through the field, holding on to the top 3 for now. He's side by side with Deweese. And he is just staying right there. I imagine both of these drivers not wanting to burn up the tires early. That's something you can do here at Bristol. And there goes Champion.
Jake Champion gonna spin around. That's gonna be a custom play.
There it
That
is.
happened.
Oh, almost contact there under yellow. We'll go back and see what happened to Jake Champion. Maybe a little help? No, looked like he went around on his own to me. And again, not the hardest impact to that wall. Almost got a heavy impact right there, but otherwise, no harm, no foul.
And that is good news for Jake Champion. That's all you got to do is get a study, get your Eagles on that thing.
So as we check in with the field, 18 cars still on the lead lap. Chris Camburn still a lap down. He might be catching the lucky dog here in a moment, though. He was riding in that position as long as he didn't pick up any contact. And there goes the 88 back on the lead lap. That's 19 cars on the lead lap. First car 1 lap down is John McNeil, but he's 4 laps down, so he is in the lucky dog position. He's gonna need a couple of them to get caught back up. Yeah, is this what you expected, Alan? I think it's I would have expected more car on car contact versus we've seen a lot of drivers just getting loose on their own on turn exit.
A lot of self spins here tonight.
Yeah, we just saw that one. Then Jacob Smith had one earlier, took him out of the top 3.
I mean, Barney up there in the flag stand's really getting his arm workout in. I don't think he's gonna need to go to the gym.
That's for sure. I think if you added it all up, not just, you know, our race tonight, but every race that happens on iRacing on a weekly basis, I mean, he's got to be getting in a couple tens of thousands of reps.
I mean, he's got that buff arm. I wouldn't mess with Barney in the back of a back alley. So he may be virtual, but just saying.
So as we're coming back to green here for the 9th time tonight, 78 of Brian Smith, the 8 of Braxton DeWeese, side by side. I mean, I don't think these two have been outside of the top 10 all night. There's DeWeese's night. He hasn't been lower than 5th. Brian hasn't been lower than 3rd, so both of these drivers setting themselves up as a favorite to win this one. And they're off. 78 pulls away. Taking the outside on the restart. I think that's what I would want to do. But DeWeese still there. And then Bentley Glazer is not far behind either of them either. As Purcell is still hanging in there in 4th on just a little bit of a tire disadvantage. I think that pit strategy move has been the best one we've seen all night. At 74. And then behind him, the 4 car of Jacob Smith on the rebound. Trying to get by Patrick Colby. Jacob looks like he is driving the wheels off of that thing. You see him get a little loose. You see him snack the wall. He's trying to get all he can. Especially when you self-spin out of a leading position. That one can really motivate you to put the pedal down for the rest of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. As we got the 28 car going to battle there with... Oh, there comes Zach Lockett. Where'd he come from?
Yeah, we haven't mentioned Zach too much tonight, but there he is, the 93 car going. And I mean, seems like just a half of a breath ago I was saying that 74 car is holding on to positions, but now drifting back. I wonder if he pressed the tires a little too much to hang with those leaders, and now he's paying for it. As we are watching Zach Lockett in the 93, take a look at his night so far. Really just kind of steadily moving forward. As high as 5th. Never outside the top 10. Solid run so far. DeWeese appears to be catching Brian. And look at our fastest 5 for 5. These are the fastest cars over the last 5-lap average. And Patrick Colby is the fastest driver on track. Then Jacob Smith. Then Bentley Glazer. And Zach Lockett. So all these drivers we were just kind of checking in on the last few minutes, all moving forward faster than the leader right now. Gotta wonder, though, how much is that 78 saving? We've seen him turn on the afterburners when he needs to make a pass and then kind of ride along otherwise. Everybody's starting to get spread out a good bit.
Yeah, we still got 40 laps or 41 laps to go until we get to the stage break to start our first, to end our second stage here. But I like the spreading. Everybody's just kind of spreading out, minding their own, staying in each other, staying in their lane, just log laps, and then we'll go racing for the last 150 laps.
Ryan Patty now to the outside of the 74. Couple drivers kind of losing touch with the pack. 98, Charles Woods. I think you can see why. Still heavy damage to the front of that 98. Slowing him down a little bit. Then the 88 behind him, the Chris Camburn. And now we've got another crash, Alan. Cody Eldred and Brad Delph involved in this one. Here on lap 114. Here is the 32 car. Oh, and it was Delph already in the wall ahead of him. Nowhere for the 32 to go, as a 72 is coming off the wall. Let's see what happened there. Might have gotten some help from the 27. A little bit of net code, a little bit of help off the bumper, and then collects the 32. That's heavy contact for both of those drivers. No meatball flags, though, so hopefully they can get those rigs repaired. Now we're starting to see a little bit of differing pit strategy as Jacob Smith hits pit road, Sean Purcell hits pit road, Cody Neal, Charles Woods, Eldred is in. So as they come out, it's going to be Jacob Smith and Cody Neal, the first two drivers on fresh tires. They're going to be in 13th and 14th position. And I think if this stays green, that's not a bad place to be. But if we keep picking up cautions, it's going to be really hard to get enough passes done before the stage is up.
Yeah, you're not lying there, Shane. But here we are, we're 117 laps in. This race is moving fairly quickly.
It is, yeah. It'll be halfway at the stage break. We watch drivers come off pit road and get caught up. Your top five are now Brian Smith, Braxton DeWeese, Bentley Glazer, Patrick Colby, and Zach Lockett. Again, laps led, not being spread out too much, as Smith now almost up to 80 laps led. Bentley Glazer with just under 30, and Sean Purcell with 10. Let's check in with how's the rest of Buddy Motorsports doing tonight. We got Jacob Smith. We just mentioned those two, Smith and Neal, just hit pit road, so they were up in the top 10 prior to coming to pit road. And the pace truck onto pit road for the 10th time. There goes Brian Smith in the 78. Takes the green flag and pulls out ahead like we've seen him do every restart here tonight. DeWeese hot in tow. And then behind them it's Glazer and Colby battling for that third position. And behind them,
Brian Smith's there. I'd say Brian Smith's sitting high, wide, and handsome. He's got Braxton DeWeese all over him. Bentley Glazer and Patrick Colby, though, they're battling pretty hard, and that's all for the third position. Give third position to Colby, but here comes, Ryan Patty, if he's got something to say, he's here to join the party.
Now, why don't we jump on board with Patty? Now the sun, not over the horizon, but is down behind the stands at least. Man, that is a lot of off-throttle time. More than I would have expected, Alan, and it doesn't look like anyone's shifting either.
I don't think you need to.
When you jump back a position to Zach Lockett, he's on the outside of Charlie Widener. And Lockett gets around him. We got cars going around behind him.
Oh,
That's
no.
Jacob Smith and Brzezowski.
Oh, man.
Both into that inside wall. And again, Alan, the difference of tires just gives too much speed. More than you're ready for. And I think Smith, on those fresher tires, was trying to poke his nose in there. Brzezowski maybe throwing a late block as well. That one, just two guys going at it. Let's see if we can get an alternate angle on this one. Smith even kind of clipping the apron there. And both of these drivers just trying to get to that bottom lane gap first. And they just come together. Like I said, that looks like hard racing to me. But the 4 was on those fresher tires, trying to make the most of them, get to the front, get some stage points here. He's in a rush. It's time to go. With that, now another handful of drivers have hit pit road. So with the 4 in that spin there, that leaves the 74 and the 38 as the first cars on fresh tires. They're about 40 laps fresher than everyone in front of them, and they are in 9th and 10th. So 8 cars ahead of them. Going to have about a 20 lap run to the end of the stage. I think the intensity is about to crank up, Alan. As it looks like the lights have just come on as well. Now, I don't know how it looks on your screen, Alan, but I got to give it to Iracing on the update they had this week. I know my graphics have taken a step forward.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, gotta appreciate the Iracing, the Iracing, hell Iracing, as they've done a wonderful job upgrading these graphics.
I know it's an endless mountain to climb.
It's a thankless job.
Yeah, it seems like they don't get enough applause. So here we are. We're giving the golf clap to Iracing this week. I'm sure they've had a lot of bugs and issues to deal with. That new UI has been confusing a lot of people. But it is looking good here on Sim Racing Media with the Icon Cup Series. 10 cautions already. We are not even halfway. But the pace car is on pit road. And the 78's taking the green flag again. Deweese already under fire from Bentley Glazer on the outside. But he hugs that yellow line and gets a run on the 78. Top 3 right on top of each other. Colby not far behind. Zach Lockett has now grabbed 5th. As Patty is battling with Chuck Van Schaik for 6th. We're getting ready to see which of these drivers prefer the nighttime
But you know, nighttime is the right time.
I've heard that. Widener still fighting with Patty here. Feels like these two and Van Schaik in front of him, the three of them have been trading positions for a while now. And here comes the 74. We mentioned he's on fresher tires than everyone else ahead of him. And there's another caution, the 11th of the night. That one, no, I don't have a, maybe the 0? Who's the 0? Oh, that's the pace car. That, the only driver I saw driving slow was the pace car right there. I don't have an answer for that one.
I don't either.
McNeil looks like he has damage, but I think that might have already been there. Jump back a lap or two. Yeah, I mean, I think the damage on the 48's pre-existing. This is towards the back of the field. Oh, there it was. Contact between the 4, the 72, and then Buddy Motorsports teammate of Cody Neal. All involved in, there it was. So let's go back, see if we can jump on board maybe with the 38 to watch that one. And the 4 is kind of the same thing as the wreck before, Alan. The 4 clips the apron maybe, and that sends his car up the track a little bit. Collects the 72, gets a little bit of contact with the 38 as well. We might run out of yellow flags. How many did Barney bring tonight?
I don't. Well, that depends. Did Michael Waltrip drop one of them?
Yes, he did.
Okay, so carried 1, 2, 3. We're gonna need a lot more. Look, if we keep going like this on the 11th caution of the night, the pace car is gonna have to stop for a pit stop.
Yeah, you know, I think I've got a proposal here. I'm not sure if NASCAR is ready for it, but you know, at the end of a race, the driver will win, will get the checkered flag and hand it out to a fan. I think you should have to do that when you cause a caution with the yellow flag. Get out of the car, come get your penalty flag, and go give it to a kid. Then get back in the car. That's your penalty.
But what if he doesn't want a caution flag?
Well, that's the whole other story. It's like the difference between catching a foul ball and a home run, I guess. Well, the pace car is off for the 14th time. And the 78 back out front. And now it is Colby taking a run at P2. Deweese a little bit loose. He is carrying a ton of speed into the corner, trying to reach the bumper of the 78. Now just 10 laps to go in stage 2. And remember, Deweese having a bad race last week, getting caught up in a wreck. Comes in just 4 points above the cut line with Bristol and New Hampshire to go as Brian Smith gets loose, slaps the wall. Sparks are flying, but he holds on to it. I think Deweese gave him a little bit of a break there, and that's going to bring Colby right up into it.
I know Braxton Deweese not letting Brian Smith pull away. As now you got Patrick Colby and Bentley Glazer hot on his tails.
Chuck Van Schaik is right there as well in 5th, up 12 positions on the night. Continuing to go forward. 78, starting to pull away though. As Deweese is under fire from Colby. Glazer is just watching from behind. I think if Colby gets side by side there, Glazer's going to try to push him through. 4 laps to go. A little further back, Zach Lockett racing Ryan Patty and Charlie Widener. That's a battle for 6th. Oh, Deweese gets loose, saves it, but he's going to lose the position to Colby.
Nope, he's going to battle back.
Oh, there's a caution out.
Oh, no.
They did not make it to the stage.
I would imagine that will be the end of the stage, though.
And again, I'm not really sure who was involved with that one. So we're going to go a lap backwards, see if we see anything. We're riding along with the 4 car. And it looks like caution's out right there. Didn't see anything happening around him. Oh, there it was. Brzezowski. We'll go back an extra lap here. The Brzezowski's racing Gilbert and Neal. Good 3-car battle here. This is around 16th or so. Oh, I see. There it is. He gets loose and overcorrects into the outside wall. Avoids any further contact, but that looked pretty, like a pretty serious wheel damage type contact to me. So he comes straight onto pit road. And that will be the stage. So as drivers are hitting pit road, we're going to take our next commercial break of the night. Be right back for more action here at the Icon Cup Series on SRM at Bristol. And welcome back. You did not miss any of the action. Drivers back to green, but we were watching side by side. A lot going on here as the 0-1 of Kyle Purcell had stayed out under the stage break and got to the lead. That's the second Chicagoland racing driver we've seen pull that strategy tonight. And he was out front for just a while, but now already back to 7th as the old tires just are not holding on very long. So put that in your crew chief notebook. You got a green-white checker at the end, you might be able to do it. Anything longer than 5 laps, though, it just seems like fresh tires are unstoppable. Then we saw Colby slap the wall right around the time that Smith, that's Brian Smith in 78, got around Purcell, took the lead back. Braxton DeWeese still in second. Colby now in third. Bentley Glazer and Ryan Patty are your top 5. Hard racing all through the field. But Bristol has been giving out second chances to a number of drivers tonight. Looking back in the field, we still have 14 cars on the lead lap. Chris Camburn in the 88 is the last car on the lead lap right now. He's been involved in multiple incidents tonight, so he's holding on, still in the top 15. And a little further back behind him is Jacob Smith. He is the lucky dog at the moment. First car 1 lap down. And he's just kind of riding there in the back, trying to avoid any other mishaps. He is the only car 1 lap down, so he doesn't have to race anybody. As these guys, fingers crossed for that next caution to come out and help him out. Biggest mover of the race so far, Kyle Gilbert up 13 positions. He's now in 8th. Ryan Patty up 14 positions in 5th. Another driver that just got some contact in one of those recent cautions, a 38. You see the nose of that car pushed in just a little bit. He is in 10th. So at this point, I think the only drivers that haven't had a major issue are the ones in the top 4. Brian Smith, Braxton DeWeese, Patrick Colby, and Bentley Glazer. The cars are clean and fast. And just as I say that, Glazer slaps the wall a little bit. It's the same story, different race. Brian Smith dominating. Check on how many laps he's led now. Now up to 123, almost 100 more than the next highest lead lap count. It's going to take some strategy and some hard racing to beat that 78 here tonight. And if you join late, the biggest drama of the night was the 6 car of Nathan Finnegan, last year's champion, having a number of issues, hardware problems, screen freezes, then getting caught up in some contact. He is out of this race and also going to have to miss the race next week at New Hampshire, effectively taking him out of the running for the 2025 Icon Championship. Otherwise, it's been kind of what you expect from a Bristol race, as we are now a little over halfway. Lots of cautions, quick pit stops, and a lot of door-to-door racing. Right now, though, the field is spread out as it's been all night. Brian Smith still leading, Braxton DeWeese in second, Patrick Colby in third. And you can see him right here. Then it's Ryan Patty and Zach Lockett fighting it out with Chuck Van Schaik right there as well. This is a 3-car battle for 5th. And looks like Camburn has had an issue maybe. And there's the caution for it. Here on lap 177. We were just talking about how Camburn was still on the lead lap after having a number of issues tonight. We're going to add one to that list. Just gets loose all by himself and then down to the inside wall. That's got to be the 5th or 6th wreck we've seen tonight just like that. So he is not alone. Still rolling though. I do think he lost a lap on that one. And Jacob Smith should be in position to get the lucky dog. And with that, looks like every single car on the lead lap is coming to pit road with the exception of 2, Colby and Neal. They were both last down pit road on lap 149 about 30 laps ago. And again, we've seen this all night. Drivers stay out, do what they can, and they're able to hold on to the lead for a handful of laps, maybe 4 or 5. And then the tires start giving up on them. They start drifting back through the field. So we'll see what happens here to the 28 and 38. Not sure what, there's no stage points here at this point in the race. I think the driver started with plenty of tires. Let's take a look at Patrick Colby's night. Yeah, he's only taken tires twice here tonight. So he should have 3... I believe they might have had 6 sets tonight, so it could be 4 more sets. So I don't think he's saving anything there. And fuel mileage wise, I think everyone's still going to have to pit at least once. But Colby had been riding around there in 3rd for a while. And he found a way to get the lead now. So we'll see if he can hold on to it. Like we said, old tires have been able to hold the lead for about 4 or 5 laps before they give it up. And then Cody Neal there on the inside. Still carrying a little bit of damage from earlier. He's going to be on the front row with Colby. And then Brian Smith and Braxton DeWeese in that second row. And if the outside lane gets a good restart, this could be DeWeese's opportunity to get in front of the 78 and try to be that first car on fresh tires to snag the lead. And Brian Smith already telling his teammate, let's go. And we're back racing. Colby already trying to get down in front of Neal. And that lets Braxton DeWeese get to the outside. Oh, but Neal shuts him off. Braxton working hard to get to that fender of the 38. Not able to do it that time. And Colby is loving this out front. And there it is. DeWeese going to get side by side with the 38. The 78 now jumps out to that outside lane to do the same. And Ryan Patty's coming through. Glazer as well. And as that's happening, DeWeese making his move for the lead.
There he is on the outside. And he's got him.
He's got it. First time tonight that the 8 car has been out front. And now Colby with an issue coming towards pit road. He locks it up. Not sure what happened there, Alan. Let's go back and watch. He was running second, but that looks like he came down on purpose. I think that's a planned stop.
Oh.
Although I don't know why. That's an awkward time to decide to pit under green. So DeWeese now out front. We've officially gotten our first free Vinny comment. That was pretty late in the race. You guys are you're slacking a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we want a free Vinny every week, but we just don't have that kind of power.
So your top 3 now: Braxton DeWeese, Brian Smith, and Ryan Patty. Patty has been on the march all night long. Pitting 3 times, got a little bit of repairs done there on that first stop. That dropped him a couple positions back to 13th. And then he's been moving forward ever since. Now up to 3rd.
Well, I tell you this, Shane, we are nearing the end of this one, and it has been an absolute barn burner since dropping the green flag.
Yeah, I think I've been really impressed with how many drivers have been able to rebound from contact and issues, the 4 being one of them. Jacob Smith, currently running in 12th. He was a lap or 2 down not that long ago, grabbed a lucky dog back on the lead lap. And now trying to get around the 74. There's still a lot of racing to do tonight, especially if you grab a caution and some pit strategy. Anyone in the field can get back to the front. Ooh, Kyle Gilbert gets loose. That's going to let Van Schaik to his outside, but he holds him off. Gilbert rocking a black and white paint scheme here. Let's take a closer look at that.
I like it.
And Van Schaik with a, I don't remember him running an all black scheme like that. So that's a nice one.
Goat lives matters is what it says on there.
And Zach Lockett, always sharp in the 93. Anyway, now that we're done admiring all these paint schemes, back up front, Braxton DeWeese still in the lead, but Brian Smith is starting to track him down. Yeah,
This is the first time in a while I've seen Braxton DeWeese on defense.
I mean, it just has the feel that both of these drivers know they're going to need to save tires to get a long run car and have speed at the end of this run if it stays green, and it almost seems like they're playing a game with each other.
Well, guess what, Shane? I get to say this. We got 99 problems and a caution isn't one.
Not right now, anyway.
Are you ready for the next one?
I mean, it seems like it should be coming any moment. We've been averaging a caution almost every 14 laps, and DeWeese gets loose. That's going to let the 78 by on the outside.
And right here at this battle, there's more action in this battle than a Waffle House at 3 a.m.
And we've seen all race that's that right rear tire is the one you've got to take care of so your car doesn't snap loose on exit. And whether that lets somebody pass you or you get in the wall, that's kind of been the Achilles heel of everyone's driving styles tonight. It's like everybody getting pretty spaced out here. Smith, that's Jacob Smith. He got by the 74, but is now just kind of riding there behind Cody Neal. Hey, we're in the middle of this run, so it's not a ton. I think once you get spaced out and settled in, it's all about rhythm. Find a line you like, save your tires. And right now, we've got just 94 laps to go. You better start thinking about what your pit strategy is going to be if this stays green and what it's going to be if a caution comes out.
Oh, I mean, it's the right sides that you got to take care of. So if it were to stay green, I would want to take right side tires only.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fuel run is, what did we say it was? It's over 100 laps, so you're not going to need a whole tank. I think if you time it right, the 2 tires could be the way to go. I don't think we've seen anyone take 2 tires here tonight. Seen a couple people go fuel only. Otherwise, it's been 4 tires and repairs as the standard stopped. We're kind of riding along here with the 01 of Kyle Purcell. Oh, go ahead.
While we have a lull in the action here, I do want to mention a couple things that are coming up here on Sim Racing Media. One being Wednesday night, you can catch me on the air at the Racers Elite Network and Sim Racing Media Facebook, the Facebook page, as I bring you all the action, or we bring you all the action rather. Shouldn't say I, because there's no I in team. Anyways, we bring you all the action of the Xfinity Series as they start their playoffs from Kern County Raceway at 7:45 Eastern. And then, or 7:30 Eastern, sorry. Also Wednesday night, you can catch Dave Regal and the big dog Shane Lake on Outlaws Sim Series. They bring you all the action there, starting at 8 o'clock Eastern. And then Saturday night, the ECR boys, they start the playoffs.
That's right. Just a handful of races there for ECR on Saturday nights left to go. I'll be in the booth calling those races. That's a exciting league. We got a little bit of driver crossover here with Icon. I know Kyle Diaz races in both.
Yep, and guess who's going to be joining you in the booth that night?
Who's that?
Yours truly.
All right. Nothing wrong with the Shane and Alan show. We've got 84 laps to go. You're watching Jacob Smith. He just got around Brad Delph. That is for 9th position. So Jacob been marching forward since he got the lucky dog on the last run. Other than that, this field has just been sitting stagnant exactly where they are. It's Brian Smith out front. He's got a second lead over second place Braxton DeWeese. Then it's 2 seconds back to Ryan Patty, who is racing with Glazer in the 87. Glazer now in 4th. Behind them, Zach Lockett. Then it's Chuck Van Schaik in 6th. He's up 11 positions from the start of the race. Kyle Gilbert in 7th. He's up 14 positions. Both of those two going forward. Kyle Purcell in the 01. You know, he's back to 8th. I'm not sure where he was running before he used that pit strategy to take the lead, but I think it was probably about here. So really nothing lost in that gamble. Got to lead a few laps. Then Jacob Smith, as we mentioned, is up to 9th, and Brad Delph is rounding out your top 10. Cody Neal is in 11th, right behind him. And then Sean Purcell in 12th. And he is the last car on the lead lap. Charles Woods is the only car 1 lap down. He's waiting on that lucky dog. A little bit of damage to the front of the 98. Again,
There's one driver right now that doesn't want this thing to go under caution, and that's Brian Smith.
Yeah, I mean, he's really, like I said, I think he was just saving his tires a little better than everybody else. So now that we're this far into the run, last pitting on lap 179, 46 laps into it. He's looking fine. I mean, Cody Neal's 75 laps into this run for him. And you can see everybody pretty much on the same strategy. Jacob Smith, I think, topped off on fuel. I believe he took tires as well because he was the lucky dog. And then everybody behind him just playing the catch-up game on repairs. We take another look at our wrench wranglers tonight. Eldred, Camber, and McNeil, all with multiple minutes of damage repairs already. Eldred I believe is still on track, but he's 21 laps down. Camburn 9 laps down. McNeil 4 laps down. So most of the drivers that have had to make heavy repairs and just not having the run they needed tonight.
I mean, you don't make repairs. Be back at New Hampshire next week as we work our way into the last race of the round of 12.
And everybody's spread out all the way around the track right now as Brian Smith is tracking down the 74 of Sean Purcell, trying to put him a lap down. That would leave just 11 drivers on the lead lap. And right now, Braxton DeWeese is the fastest car on track over the last 5 laps, but just by a hair over the leader, Brian Smith.
I thought you were getting ready to say it by the hair and the chinny chin chin.
And there goes the 78 around the 74. So Purcell now in that lucky dog position. The only car 1 lap down. The next car that the 78 will try to catch is the 72 of Brad Delph. I noticed that we got a number of drivers in the live chat tonight that are usually racing names. Pete Walsh, Anthony Tizio. What are you guys doing on the sidelines tonight? Appreciate you chatting with us, but would prefer to see you in the car.
Well, now we know why we got the free Vinny.
We do have 1 car on pit road, the 98. In a battle right here, McNeil, Gilbert, Van Schaik. McNeil's is a lap car, but the 23 and the 227 are going at it. They both get around McNeil. And other than this battle, I mean, everyone is seconds apart. This is the longest green flag run of the night, and it is really testing these drivers on how well they can save tires for the long run.
You know, we have 61 laps to go, now 60. And it's going to come down, you know, this, I knew coming into this thing, it wasn't going to be a battle of attrition. But we knew it was going to be a battle.
Yeah, and there goes the 72. Now he is a lap down in the lucky dog position. That puts Purcell trapped a lap down. '78 goes around Eldred. He's a whole handful of lap downs now, but out there putting in the work, trying to grab a few positions before this thing's over. And we'll see what happens here. The 78 has caught his teammate. And he's got a little over a second lead back to Deweese. How long will he try to cut Cody a break? And the answer is not very long. There he goes down low.
I mean, it's either pass or be pass.
He's a little tight or loose, though, there down the bottom. And Neil, just trying to stay out of the way, gets into the wall twice there. Now Deweese going to have to try to get around Delph and Neil, because now those two are battling for the lucky dog. This is not going to be too easy. Delph, though, going to give way. And this is kind of a double here for Neil as he wants to stay the first car one lap down. He's also got his teammate in the lead. If he wanted to, he could race that 8 a little harder and make his day a little longer. But he's going to let him go, it looks like. But with that, Deweese now 1.7 seconds gap to the leader of Brian Smith. And while we've been watching this, Bentley Glazer has caught Ryan Patty.
Oh.
And Zach Lockett is right there in frame too. So these three now coming back together here with 52 laps to go in the Bristol night race with the Icon Cup Series. 300 laps, 150 miles. Drivers earning it tonight. These drivers, they're just matching each other lap for lap. Glazer with a slightly higher line, trying to use that momentum to catch the 30. And they're coming up on some lap traffic now, so we'll see if that makes it easier or harder for Glazer to get around Patty. He's going to catch him first. And Lockett now continuing to track down the 87. Ooh, driver's tagging the wall. Just a bit of a chef's kiss.
Mwah.
Patty now to the outside of Purcell. Again, the 74 is a lap down. And Glazer trying to make the most of it. He gets around the 74. Now Lockett going to do the same. This is the battle for third place. As Smith and Deweese basically matching lap times up front with 1.7 seconds between them. This is where all the action is right now. Just 9 cars on the lead lap.
One more cars than where there were last night.
And 43 laps to go. Now we talked a little bit about fuel, but I was thinking drivers would not be able to make it all the way. So they've gone almost 80 now, 40 to go. I had that fuel window somewhere between 105 and 115. If this run stays green, I don't think they can make it. We're probably going to see some splash and goes to finish this off.
You're probably 100% correct.
Well, if I can,
You're better at fuel mileage than I am.
I'll tell you the secret is if you haven't used it, there's a website called Garage 61. And there's an iRacer. You can go on there, create a little account, link it up with your iRacing account, and it keeps track of your lap times, your fuel usage, and all the information that goes with that. And you can decide to share that information, that telemetry data, publicly with other drivers, or you can set up a team so that only the people you want to see that data can see it. But a handful of these Icon drivers have their profile set to public, so just before the race, I go on there, find one of those drivers running a good lap time, and then check their fuel mileage and do the math from there. So it's a pretty handy tool, especially if you're trying to figure out where to find that extra 1/10 of a second. At a place like Bristol, you can go in and analyze the racing lines. Now, we are not sponsored by them, let's be clear, but I'm a fan, and that's how I'm doing the fuel mileage here for the broadcast, and it's usually pretty right on. Glazer, again, he can catch the 30, but I don't know if he's got the momentum to get around him. 80 laps on these tires is a long run. think I mentioned earlier, if you're going to split the race up, you should be getting tires every 60 laps. So most of these drivers are going to finish with an extra set or two. Just kind of the way the cautions fell, where they were all in the first half of the race, and then we've been green flag here in the second half.
Yeah, more green flag runs here. But, you know, I do like the fact that Smith, Deweese, and Patty are your top three right now.
Yeah, as we take another look at those playoff standings, Patty and Deweese, two drivers that really needed a rebound after their wrecks last week, gave them both DNFs. I think Patty did eventually get back on track, but he was over 100 laps down. So effectively a DNF when it comes to the points, but this is exactly what they needed, both emotionally and mathematically, to rebound. And we've got a couple drivers starting to hit pit road now. Looks like Colby, Eldred, and Camburn are on pit road. And now Lockett to the outside of Glazer. Looking for that 2-for-1 special, Allen. He's going to get around the 87 pretty clean. Now start working on Patty.
Where does Zach Lockett come from?
And there goes our leader, Brian Smith, on pit road. So Deweese is your leader. Patty, 3.5 seconds back, under fire from Zach Lockett. And green flag pit stops are really going to put some people at risk, because you are going to go a lap down when you pit here, even if it's just a splash and go. You're probably going to go 2 laps down even. So if you're a driver like Ryan Patty right now, if everyone who can afford to stay out just a little bit longer, cross those fingers and hope for a caution to trap Brian in the 78, 1 or 2 laps down, I think that's a gamble you have to take at this point. You know you're losing time in terms of speed, but strategy-wise, that's the best gamble you could make.
Especially with 26 to go.
And you see it. 78, 2 laps down right now. And you can see him catching these drivers right now. He's coming into your picture. Again, this is the battle for second. He's got to get to Deweese, and he has an issue.
No caution.
He had gotten loose. Let's jump back a lap and watch that. He caught these drivers so fast that to stay out of Glazer's bumper, he checked up and got loose down towards the apron. Charles Woods also with a big checkup. And then he's going to rebound again. Those fresh tires should be making him so fast. But 2 laps down, that's not what he wants to happen. We were just talking about that. He does not want to get trapped here.
I think with 21 to go, if you're Braxton Deweese, you have to stay out as long as you possibly can. If you have the fuel, take the gamble on the tires. Here comes Brian Smith, though, wanting to get his lap back the hard way.
Yeah, and it looks like the 78 took your advice, Alan, that he got a 2-tire stop. But right now, he's still 2 laps down.
I just don't think he's had time to make up 2 laps.
We take a look at that pit strategy again. So everybody all the way back to Sean Purcell has not pitted for over 100 laps. I think it's going to be close. If their pit crew and their crew chief got in their ear early enough in this run to tell them to save, they've got a shot at it. I think anyone in this top 5, they're pretty much all on the same fuel strategy. But here comes Brian Smith. He's going to take one of those 2 laps off the board. Now he is just 1 lap down, but he's not in the lucky dog position. It's actually the 74 of Sean Purcell.
He is coming, though. He's got 17 laps. It's going to be a tall order.
The 74 is not pitted. He's one of the drivers trying to run this out.
I think Braxton DeWeese, though, barring caution, I think Braxton DeWeese has no choice. He's going to have to run this out. He's going to have to try.
It's worth a shot. I mean, I'm not sure how this, unless he has something really bad happen getting on pit road, I don't think he's going to have a bad finish either way, but he's got a shot at the win with 2 seconds ahead of this battle here between Zach Lockett and Ryan Patty. And this Braxton DeWeese. Let's jump on board and listen to how DeWeese is driving. Is he out of the throttle? Is he letting it coast a little bit? So he's not clutching it.
He's got 13 laps to go.
I mean, let's try and compare this with Brian Smith's in-car. And you can see that the RPMs are up there, like 3 of those lights on the dash higher for the 78 than they were for DeWeese.
I'd say Brian Smith for the next 12 laps has to almost be qualifying.
And you can see how frustrating it is to be so much faster and still have to check up every time you catch a car just because of how awkward the speed difference is here for the 78. So Ryan Patty now has kind of gotten a little bit of separation from Zach Lockett. Cody Neal, I believe, has pitted, so he's going to go by. And there it is, DeWeese on pit road, your leader.
Ryan Patty, though, takes over the race lead.
Sean Purcell also in. So what that means is that Brian Smith is in the lucky dog position. Even if the caution comes out, he is not going to be completely out of luck here, although lucky dog starts at the tail of the field behind the lappers. So he's going to want to get that lap back as fast as he can, which I think the easiest way for him to do that is if Patty comes to pit road. Lockett and Glazer have come. Patty's still out there.
Ryan Patty's still out there on 114 lap old tires with 7 laps to go. You have to, your bet is made. You got to stay out.
We've got only 3 cars still on the lead lap. Ryan Patty, Kyle Purcell, and Chuck Van Schaik all pitted on lap 179. 115 laps ago. They're going to have to go 121 to wrap this thing up.
5 flanges in the air. 5 laps to go for Ryan Patty.
Looking at his night, we mentioned it. He started towards the rear, as low as 20th. Made some repairs early, and then has pitted only twice in this race, Alan. Well, 3 times counting that first one, but incredible to come to Bristol where we talk about how important tires are for him to do this on just so few stops, and he has not been in, as we mentioned, for 117 laps. Just 3 to go. He's got a 6-second lead over Purcell, a 9-second lead over Van Schaik, and over a lap back to Brian Smith, about a lap and a half right now.
And he is 2 laps away, a lap and a half away from punching his ticket into the next round.
Final lap, white flag is out. Ryan Patty taking it easy as he comes around, saving every drop of fuel he can. Coming around, he's going to make it 121 laps on a tank to win this thing and punch his ticket into the round of 8. Ryan Patty, after tragedy last week, crushes it on strategy and speed. He was up there, made his way to the top 5, then the top 3 all night long, and steals this one. And get the other 2 cars on the strategy did the same thing, Alan. So your podium is Ryan Patty, Kyle Purcell, and Chuck Van Schaik. All three of them made it 121 laps and left Brian Smith 1 lap down in 4th. How about that?
That is, oh my goodness. The last time Ryan Patty has won this season was back in Daytona.
I thought he won at Indy too.
Yeah, he did win an Indy.
And I saw a picture in the Discord or maybe it was the Facebook group, one or the other. Ryan actually had the chance to go kiss the bricks in Indianapolis. A well-earned celebration. What a race, Al. I mean, we saw, I can't even remember now, 15 cautions in the first half of the race.
He's trying to do a burnout.
He's out
I
of
don't think he
fuel.
has enough fuel. I don't think he has enough gas.
Hey, I'll take that. Trade the burnout for the victory anytime. How about that? What a finish. I just can't believe we had so many cautions and then went caution-free for 121 laps to end this race.
You know, here's the other thing, too. Is if there would have been a green-white checkered, Ryan Patty, Kyle Purcell, and Chuck Van Schaik would have had to come down pit road. No doubt about it. They would have had to.
Oh, you're right. I think that the only way this worked out is if it went all the way to the end just like that. We're going to pull our podium drivers up here for some interviews. That was pretty incredible. It looks like we've got them trickling in. We'll pull them in just a moment. Well, while he's here, let's go ahead and talk to second place driver Kyle Purcell is here for you, Alan.
Kyle, you know, it's Alan and Shane up in the SRM booth. How's it going?
It's going pretty good, all things considered.
Man, 121 laps since your last pit stop. Take us through that race and what could have been.
Well, got things messy, especially early in the first, second stage. So I lost all chance at stage points because, I tried to flip and use the fresh tires to get to the front. Some other people in a similar strategy, but weren't, we were disagreeing on track position. So I bumped, I think I turned to the 77. So I got myself in trouble there. And then my brother and I and Charles Woods got in trouble at one point, and I claimed that. So I ended up going 2 laps down, but after being able to recover early on, just fuel saved at the end super hard, and luckily nobody else really did except for me and the 23 and the 30.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, next week we go to New Hampshire. What's going to be the strategy as we head towards the New Hampshire Motor Speedway for next week?
Probably just going to try to do something different with tires than the people that are actually competitive, because I'm probably like a 10th to 15th place car most tracks, and probably even worse than that typically here and at New Hampshire. But if I can play different strategy and the strategy works out, then I can, exceed my normal expectations like we saw tonight, hopefully.
Awesome job. Before we get you out of here, who helped you get it done? Who do you want to tip your hat to help you get it done on that race car?
Just a shout out to the whole field most of the field. In the final stage there, just keeping it clean, There's a couple less than savory paint schemes out there, but that's always going to happen, it seems like. So all the people that raced clean and were respectful, both with their paint schemes, their chat, and their driving, shout out to everybody, because it was nice to have a super long run where there was multiple strategies we could employ.
Awesome job. Well, you can go ahead and celebrate that P2 with your team, and we'll see you next week.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
That was Kyle Purcell. Next up, driver of the 23 third place finisher, Chuck Van Schaik. Chuck, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
How about that? I mean, we saw, 15 cautions to get this thing started, and then we had a 120 lap green flag run to the finish where only 3 drivers were able to save enough fuel, and you're lucky enough to be one of them, or smart enough to be one of them, should I say. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, I was just trying to survive and make sure I wasn't in any of the wrecks or coming out of a turn where any of the wrecks were where you couldn't see it. And, once, I guess the last caution there, I knew I was in the window. I saved way too much. I had 10 laps left. So I was just watching other people. I didn't expect anyone else to be either saving, because every time in the beginning when I was saving, I'd get on the gas a little bit and it would go under the number. So I just said, you know what, I got to fully commit to it. And unfortunately, I committed way too much because I had enough gas to push Ryan the victory lane. And you know, and I think I finished after pushing him. I think I still had 5 laps left of fuel.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're on the right side of it, though. Rather be 5 laps extra than 5 laps short.
No, it's definitely for sure.
But yeah, I mean, we saw you battling up there all night long, and it looked like the racing was pretty good. I mean, give us a little insight into, was the high line dominant, was the low line dominant, or was it just all about who had been saving tires?
I mean, yeah, basically just saving tires. I mean, I was letting off way early and just rolling the bottom, letting it come up, and then gassing it back down. And probably about 10 to 15 laps in, people weren't able to hold the bottom as well, and that's where I'd start going under and trying to pick people off. And then finally, I think everyone caught on and just were basically slamming the brakes to get to the bottom, and then I just started going around the top. The top was good once you got about 15, 20 laps in with worn tires. You couldn't do anything in the beginning without getting snappy loose. So,
well, congratulations on pulling off the strategy there to get back up to the podium finish. A great run for you tonight. Anybody else you want to thank for your performance tonight?
yeah, I mean, you guys put on the broadcast, the admins for Icon. They put up with all the adult children and put on a great league. And then to my teammates, I mean, Jonathan Duncan wasn't here tonight, which sucked because now he's in a must-win at New Hampshire. I think I'm gonna be right on the cut line as usual. I match Bubba Wallace's energy with being on the cut line constantly. New Hampshire is one of my worst tracks, but you had Patrick. It sucked for him getting that black flag. He was strong. Me and him were communicating, and once he got that black flag, it was tough. And then my company, Go Racing Diecast, GoRacingDiecast.com. Use Go Racing 23, 5% off your entire order. Got new, used, custom apparel, sponsorships, all types of good stuff. I mean, Zach Lockett's one of my sponsored drivers. I have about 8 other ones. Always looking for sponsoring leagues and drivers.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming and chatting with us in the booth. Congratulations again on the victory, and good luck next week at New Hampshire.
Thank you.
All right. He ran out of gas, but hopefully he hasn't run out of steam to chat with us here. Alan, I've got Ryan Patty in the booth for you.
Ryan Patty, the man of the hour, 121 laps and just enough fuel to cross the finish line. Take us to the race, and what was you thinking right as you're crossing the finish line, knowing that you had just enough gas to coast there?
Oh man, it was close. It was very close. That whole last run, I was kind of on edge because I had obviously Bentley running right behind me, and what was it, Zach Lockett behind him, and the two of them were wicked fast all night. I knew that Zach might have had a little bit more pace than the two of us, and obviously he was trying like hell to get by us. And I had been saving that entire run. Obviously pretty conservative on the gas. With it being a short track, you don't need to go 100% throttle here. And I thought everyone else was behind me because we seem to have very even pace. And I just imagined that the 78 and the 8 were going full bore, anticipating there'd be another caution. But yeah, man, it worked out. When I saw them all peel off and start pitting, I just had a big old smile, and I was like, okay, I can take the last 5 laps and really back it down and just make sure I got enough. And thank goodness I did, because I barely got around just to the start finish line after that.
Yeah, absolutely. But next week, we turn the tide. You're punched your way through to the next round of the playoffs. Now we go to New Hampshire. What's going to be your strategy as we hit New Hampshire? And does that track kind of fit your driving style?
Yeah, it does. I love New Hampshire. I know a lot of drivers, iRacing tends to have trouble at New Hampshire because it's a flat track, heavy braking, not a lot of grip, right? So drivers tend to either overcommit on entry and get into the driver in front of them, or get into the gas a little heavy on exit. I know turn 2 is pretty treacherous. and that can cause a lot of calamity, right? So I like it. I can modulate that throttle and find my braking points very very well. So hopefully now that I got the win and I'm locked into the next round, I don't have to worry about getting caught up in somebody else's mess. But I'm going there looking for a win for sure. I've won there many times, and it's my home track because I live up here in Boston. So I'd love to be able to get another one.
All right, well, good stuff. But before we get you out of here, who do you want to thank and who helped you get it done on that number 30 car?
Yeah, well, hey, first off, thanks to Chuck Van Schaik pushing me into victory lane. Got this 30 Kellogg's Chevrolet up under the upstairs victory lane. But yeah, thank you guys for showing up every week, putting on a great show. It's great to have you with us all season here. And shout out to my teammates. I know it was a rough night for some of them, but great to have them in the radio booth and pumping and cheering me on. And last but not least, thanks to my wife. She I don't know if she's still awake or not, but she was going to watch the race tonight. So hopefully this was a good show for her.
Absolutely. Well, if there's any better race for your wife to watch, it's going to be one that you win.
Yeah, you bet.
Because look, coming from experience, our spouses and our significant others, we take this very seriously, and to them it's just a video game.
Well, I mean, she knows how much I put into it. Obviously, running the league here, and I'm pretty surprised I did so well tonight. Obviously, it was a fuel mileage win, but I hadn't turned a lap at this new configuration. So my goal tonight was really just to keep it clean, maybe get a top 10 or a top 5. And it seems like every time I go into a race like that, things turn out well. Same thing happened at Indy. So maybe we'll just try to adopt that philosophy the rest of the season.
Well, once again, congratulations on winning tonight, and go celebrate that win with the missus, and have a good week, and we'll see you next week at New Hampshire.
Sounds good, Alan. Thanks, buddy.
Yep.
So, again, just a tale of 2 races, all cautions early, and then all green flag and fuel strategy to finish it out. Pretty incredible. With that, we're going to take a look at our final race results.
You got to screenshot that.
That is a good. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of screenshots of that in the Discord here coming up. Let's see if we can get the results pop up. There they go. Oh, and then they're gone again. We're fighting with the overlays here tonight. All right, there are the race results. It was Ryan Patty, Kyle Purcell, and Chuck Van Schaik in the podium. Then Brian Smith, heartbreak for a 4th place finish, and the same for Braxton DeWeese. Those two were battling it out most of the race. There, at least most of the 3rd stage. Both of them missing out on the fuel strategy to get the win. Then Zach Lockett, Bentley Glazer, Kyle Gilbert, Jacob Smith, and Cody Neal round out the top 10. Then Brad Delph, Sean Purcell, Patrick Colby, John McNeil, Chris Camburn, Charles Woods, Cody Eldred, Charlie Widener, Nathan Brzezowski, and Jake Champion are your top 20. Then it's Brock Hersey, Robert Bloom, Nathan Finnegan. And then I think you were right, Alan. Jake was running race control tonight. So 23 cars. The drama of the night kind of started with Finnegan getting involved in a bunch of incidents early. He's going to mix next week's race. That effectively takes him out of contention for the championship. And then the driver we mentioned needed to have a great race and potentially a win was Ryan Patty, and he found a way to get it done. Pretty incredible night here at Bristol. Any other closing thoughts, Alan?
No, we're going to go to New Hampshire next week. And I just want everybody to have a good week, and we'll see you in the next one.
All right, we want to thank you again for watching. Everybody in the live chat, we appreciate you talking with us, and everybody watching on YouTube. Check out any of our other sim racing media races. Alan mentioned them earlier. And as always, we'll be here on Sunday night with the Icon Cup Series next week at New Hampshire. Hope you'll join us then, and thanks for watching tonight.